Hey, what's going on, guys? Greg Jenkins here from Monkeypod Marketing, and I want to share with you a quick story about my business that I ran after university. So this is before Monkeypod, before I worked at Infusionsoft, right after college for about 5 years. I ran a business in Lansing, Michigan, installing and servicing draft beer dispense systems. And over the 5 years that I ran it, the company grew. I had about 30 clients at first, and when my business partner bought me out, we had close to 100. It was like 88 or maybe it was 90 clients. So the fact that we nearly tripled in the time that I worked there, I thought meant that I had done things properly. I thought that meant that I knew what I was doing, and that the growth we experienced was the direct result of me doing things right. But part of the reason that I sold the business at the time was that I was burnt out. I was 26 years old, and I just didn't love what I was doing. I didn't look forward to going to work. It had become this drain on me. And I didn't know then, but I do know now that I could have avoided that, or at least prolonged that burnout if I had embraced or looked into technology and systems, and specifically into automation for my business. So when I think back on it, so many of the things that I was frustrated by could have been solved through automation. But I didn't know to ask. And the reason that I didn't know to ask was because I had some misconceptions around what automation might mean for a business, right? I wasn't willing to entertain it as a solution because I had pigeonholed what I thought about automation, and so I wasn't receptive to that as a possible solution. And obviously, I feel very differently now. And so I want to go over some of the myths and misconceptions that I still hear from small businesses in the marketplace today, to hopefully either dispel them or to challenge the way you might think about marketing automation as a solution for your business. Okay, so the first lesson here, the first myth is sort of in the name marketing automation itself, right? I think that is kind of a misnomer. One of my favorite Brad Martineau quotes says, "I have two problems with the phrase marketing automation. The first is the word marketing, and the second is the word automation," right? Because I really don't think marketing automation is limited to just marketing. That might be where your business has the most opportunity, and it might be where you start with automation in your business. But if all you do is use automation to capture leads, then you're grossly underutilizing it as a tool for your entire business, right? Because you can use automation for lead capture, but you can also use it for fulfillment. You can also use it for internal processes. There's really no limit to the application of where automation can fit within your business. So if you want to learn more about that particular topic or that particular myth, I wrote a blog post about it a few months ago. I think it's called Typecast Automation. So go look for that one, where I dig into all of the different areas of a business where automation might fit that you may be overlooking. Okay, so the second lesson here is that automation, specifically within the phrase marketing automation, it doesn't necessarily mean automatic, right? I have worked with plenty of small businesses who said, well, I can't automate this because a human has to make this decision here. And while you may not be able to automate every aspect, or every variable in the equation, you can probably automate most of it, and then use automation to hold the person accountable for the thing that they or you are supposed to be doing, and then use automation once that human interaction is completed to finish the process. So while the entire process might not be entirely hands-off, automation can still be an invaluable tool for making sure that things happen in a systematic and streamlined and predictable way, right? And that is the goal at the end of the day, is to use automation to do the things that we as humans would do anyway. Okay, the third and the final myth here that I think is perhaps the most important is that automation doesn't have to be a compromise. If you are in small business, then I'm going to make an assumption about you. You probably care a lot about your customers. You care a lot about the product or the service that you are providing, and you don't want to compromise the experience that you are creating for your customers. And so when you think about things, happening in an automated sense, there's this panic that sets in because there's no way machines could do it as well as I can. And I feel confident saying that because, way back when I was installing and servicing draft beer systems, that's how I felt. I thought there's no way automation can replicate the type of customer service that Greg Jenkins is able to provide. But here's what I want to challenge you on. It's not about a one-to-one equation. It is about the net difference, right? If you automate something, it might feel a little less personal, but it's also going to happen faster and more predictably and in a scalable way that allows you to reach more customers. So whatever cost, whatever you lose by automating it, you should more than make up in some other category. And then the second part of this equation, the second part of it not being a compromise, is that just because you have automated something doesn't mean that you are removed and that you're not able to impose yourself on this equation elsewhere. It means that you've automated the bulk of it, the majority of it, and you might still choose to spend your time adding extra value or reaching out to people when they don't expect it or going above and beyond, right? There are other ways that you can apply human or manual effort to still make sure that your brand has a high level, white glove experience, whatever the personality is that you want represented or your own fingerprint on that. So when you think about automation, there can be a piece of you, because you care about your brand and you care about your customers, there can be a piece of you that might be fearful that you are compromising the ultimate experience. But I don't think that's true because, number one, the net difference should be better when you're able to do it more quickly and more reliably and more predictably and in a way that scales your business. And number two, you can redistribute your manual efforts into other parts of your business that allow you to maintain that sense of control, that sense of personality, and that sense of pride that you probably take in your business and the experience you are creating. So that is it for the 3 myths I wanted to recap here. Hopefully automation is a tool for your business, and I hope that this challenges maybe some of those myths if you held them. If you want more of this type of content, if you want to dig into the mindset of marketing automation, I recommend checking out my Marketing Automation 101 course. Somewhere on this page you should see a link where you can opt in for that course. It is free, and it includes not only my own perspectives but those of a dozen friends that I interviewed about their experience using marketing automation in their business. All right, that's it, guys. Take care.